Hello, and thank you for tuning in for this sunset drive on my YouTube channel. On this sunset drive, we are traveling from the Grand Canyon to Williams, Arizona, and we are passing through Williams, Arizona to get to our destination where we were staying in Chandler, Arizona. The sun was setting at the Grand Canyon, and we wanted to be back in Chandler before it was too late. And there was also a lot of road construction after we got past Williams. We had seen that on the way up, so we wanted to get past that and get to Chandler safe and sound before it was midnight. So the sun is setting over the Grand Canyon. We're hitting the road. We're driving south on Highway 64 back to Williams, Arizona. It's January, so we're going to talk about the weather, road conditions, and the amazing plants and animals that you might see along the way. Let's go. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can hit the little bell so you get notifications whenever I have a new post, but definitely if you subscribe, then you'll be able to see that as well. So we leave the Grand Canyon. The sky is putting on a show. The winter sunsets here are extra vibrant because the crisp, cold air makes the colors pop. As you can see, once we get down the hill a little bit, you're going to start to see all the different colors that are showing up over the mountains. The temperature while we were at the Grand Canyon was moderate, but then after we started to decide we were going to leave, it started cooling off. Make sure you keep an eye on the video. You're going to see a range of colors, orange, yellow, blue, even a little teeny tinge of green. So in January, the temperatures drop fast, especially after sunset. It can get down to about 30 degrees, but by the time we reach Williams, it could be down to the low 20s. Now, this was later in January. It was the last day of January, actually, and this was 2025. So by the time the temperatures really started dropping, we were already in the car. But there was one rest stop where we stopped to use the restroom and get some snacks, and it was very cold. So I can attest to, even though we were in the car, the temperature definitely was dropping out there. As you can see, the road was nice and clear. It was January 31st. There is snow on the side of the road. It's definitely not enough to stop and make a snowman or anything, but you will have nice, safe driving conditions. If the road and the snow is at this level, meaning there isn't a lot of snow, so you're not having to wait for the plow or, have a chance of needing chains or getting snowed in. And then, of course, whenever you're planning a road trip, check your weather conditions. There can be things that change, in an instant overnight. So just double check everything before you take off for your road trip. So one thing about any time you're traveling in an area that could have snow and ice can be common, especially in shaded areas and higher elevations. Be sure to watch for black ice. Take it slow on curves. And then if you come across any bridges, which I don't think there were any large bridges. I think there were some overpasses over gullies and stuff. But if you're going over bridges, you definitely want to watch for black ice. So our trip was in Arizona, and this is on Highway 64, heading south from the Grand Canyon to Williams, Arizona. And as you can see by this video, the Arizona Department of Transportation does a good job of keeping the road clear. And again, if it snowed recently, or if you're planning a trip, check the weather conditions. You want to be sure that everything is clear or that you are prepared. So the wildlife starts to become more active as the sun goes down. So one of the biggest hazards on this drive, elk. They are massive. Some are over 700 pounds, which is equal to 318 kilograms. We did actually see an elk by the side of the road as we were driving up, and unfortunately, it did look like it had been hit by a car. They cross the highway at dusk and dawn, so you want to keep an eye out for them, at the sides of the road. The area on most of this road is pretty clear as far as brush and trees, so you should be able to see if an elk is coming, and then definitely slow down or let them pass. Put your hazards on, whatever you need to do to alert other drivers. You might also see mule deer grazing by the side of the road. They're smaller, but they're also unpredictable. So if you spot one, slow down, because if there's one, there's usually more. Other animals that could potentially cross the road are coyotes. They are common in this area, and they could dart across the road in search of food. If you're lucky, you might hear them howling in the distance. So if you wanted to, or if you start to hear that when you're in your car, you could open your window a little bit until it gets too cold, and then, take a listen and close the window back up. So as you notice during this drive, there is a change in the landscape and the plants. So as you drive south, and as we were driving south, we're leaving the high desert landscape of the Grand Canyon, heading into the Kaibab National Forest, and then the trees are mostly the ponderosa pines. They can survive cold, dry winters, so they're going to be green, hence the terminology of the evergreen. So you'll also see pinyon pines and junipers, but of course, on this drive, you're just going to see them from a distance. These trees, even though we would look at them up close and see like pine needles and, it doesn't look too appetizing, that is food for birds and small animals, even in the winter. They do eat the seeds of the cones that are growing on there, and some animals do eat the needles. Down on the forest floor, plants like sagebrush and yucca are toughing it out through the cold. So even though we don't see them during our drive, they are there, and they can handle the snow and the freezing temperatures. So that also is providing food for any animals that are out there. So once we get down to the bottom of I keep saying the bottom of the hill, but it's actually just, at the end of the drive at Williams, then we'll start to see a different type of scenery, landscape. And then also you're going to want to see the sky. So take a look at the sky as you're riding along. The driver, of course, would not be doing this, because as it gets darker, you're really going to start to see the stars. One thing that's nice about driving in the middle of nowhere, especially if it's a place that you're familiar with and you can relax while you're driving, even the driver will be able to see off in the distance and on the horizon as the sun goes down, and you're seeing that there's no light pollution. You can see a lot more stars. The stars are always there. We just don't usually see them if we're in a place that has a lot of light pollution. So definitely take the opportunity, if you're on a road trip in an area that has minimal to zero light pollution, to take a look at the stars. You're going to see a lot more stars, and you're going to see like little teeny tiny, barely visible stars, and then you're going to see some brighter stars. And then as you get back, on this road trip on the Highway 64, we're going to be approaching Williams, and then that would be the end of our sunset drive, because this little strip that we're driving it's just going to be to the sunset, and then we're going to be riding through the area that has all the road work. So Arizona Department of Highways, I think it's called, are working hard to keep the roads in good condition for us so that we have opportunity to come back and go back to the Grand Canyon on nice, safe roads. So finish up watching this. Enjoy the quiet and the solitude and the music. And be sure to hit the bell icon, like, and subscribe for more adventures. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, guys.